Sup.
What's happening?
It's getting to be here. Let me uh-oh. Where's that button? Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's pre-weeks in, so how is everybody doing?
Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've got like 3.5 weeks worth of worth of back issues to file. Yeah.
Nice.
No.
That means you get to go through them all again.
No, that's tedious. Like, it's not just the back issues, it's all the stuff that comes in the mail, and I've been sitting here trying to organize. It's a mess.
That's what's up. So how is Friday? It's your first full day off in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I was able to go to the LCS with all 3 of the kids, and my dad was there. I was able just to kind of hang out, take my time, knock around. Found a lot more stuff than I anticipated. Then we went to Second and Charles. For people who don't know, it's like Books A Million with a buy sell trade aspect to it. And my oldest was able to blow $100 of mine on manga books, so she had a blast.
About right.
Yeah. But it's all good. She loves to read, and I love that she loves to read, so I'm going to throw every penny I can at that, keep her interested in reading.
Were you weren't on whenever I got that phone call this morning, were you?
Yeah, because remember we stopped the show and we were just like talking about you not participating.
Yeah, so I took my car into the shop to be repaired for ridiculous reasons, and they called me this morning, and they're like, "Hey," and this has been an ongoing thing. Like, this is part of what kept me from Steve's show, because it's on the other side of, it's like on the perfect opposite side of the loop from me, and so like we had to go drop it off and pick it up and everything, like right there about 7:00. And so making it home by 8 from the other side of Houston at that hour is nigh impossible. So this has been an ongoing thing that's like been a hassle in my life. And so they finally like got the part they need, dropped it off for repairs the other day. It was supposed to be ready, but they didn't have it ready that day, so I had to wait another day. So it was supposed to be ready yesterday, but I had to wait till this morning for them to call. And then they called me and they tell me, well, we replaced the part, but it reset the engine and the odometer and everything, because they had to replace like the computer. And so it reset the odometer. So when we do something like that, we're supposed to get this plate that is like mounted on the engine or something to tell people that the odometer was reset or whatever.
And the mileage in which it was reset at her.
Yeah. So apparently they didn't get this part. Like, they knew they were going to change my computer out and stuff, but they didn't go ahead and order that part. So now we're waiting on that part to come in so they can put that on there. I'm like, you have to be kidding me.
That's super frustrating.
Mm-hmm. So other than that, though, it's been a pretty good day. I got an A-OK. I got some...
other than that.
Yeah, I mean, other than ruining the morning.
We know you have a beautiful bed, Ryan.
There's beautiful coffee on it now too.
Yeah, I saw that video, man. That was awesome. And they get unsolicited coffee. That's a thing.
Yeah. From it was sent to me by Rick Quinn, who is a writer that I did a interview with, Comic Conversations.
Now, is this his own coffee establishment, or just like hard suggestion, Ryan? Try my coffee that I like.
No, a little of both. He works for the coffee roastery. And so when he saw my post about Arca coffee and stuff, he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were into coffee. Send me your address, and I'll send you some of the samples from the roastery that I work at." I was like, cool. And then kind of forgot about it. And now like it showed up this morning and I was like, I got an email like from UPS, like your package was delivered. I was like, huh?
Huh?
So I had to go outside and find it. They dropped it off at the neighbor's house. So I had to go find it. And then I was like looking through, I was like, oh yeah. So I was like, let me make a video because that's awesome. Like he just sent me that. I was like, awesome. That's 5.
You should
nice
take
packages
a
of beans.
picture of them and send them to Chip. Chip is
Yeah.
a coffee guy as well.
Yeah,
Don't
no, I
send
talked
it
to
to
him on his
Panda.
coffee and comics videos.
Yeah, just don't send it to Panda. You already know the response you'll get. It's earthy.
I was thinking about that as I was writing my review of Arca coffee. And I kept talking about, I was like, yeah, I like earthy coffees. And it just made me laugh every time that I would think that to myself because of Panda.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, it looks like we got quite a few people filtering in and out here. Let's see. Cup of Comics. Hey, how's it going? TM Nerdy Station.
Yeah, I love that. They got a great thing
And,
going.
making the rounds. I
The
know,
little
right?
station thing, it's fantastic. I love it.
They stationed everybody.
Station guys, yeah.
Tomorrow. Manuel. Boom. Legion of Comics. All right, so we got quite a few people in here. This is exciting. Where's Steve? He's supposed to watch on his way home. Or I guess listen on his way home.
Yeah, please don't watch while you're driving, Steve. That's probably what happened to the
right?
last deer.
I know, right? It was probably trying to like wave him down for a ride.
Yeah.
He was just like so busy watching, he totally didn't look up and see him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so with that being said, let's do this. Pre-week's end, April 16th. So, what are your thoughts on New Comic Book Day this week?
Oh my God, I've loved it. And I just recorded the video for next week's New Comic Book Day, and I noticed how small my week is. So I'm very excited that this was a substantial week. Like I'm sitting here right now, kind of bagging and boarding today's pickup. So I'm still surprised at the amount of awesomeness that came out this week. Some of it shocked me, some of it I wasn't planning on picking up, and I did. And that turned out to be some big spec books with the Joker #2 with the
Oh yeah,
first appearance of Vengeance. And I was able to grab one of these for Tyler. He missed one, so I wanted to send him one.
oh,
Grab
nice.
myself one because it's just a gorgeous cover. I did get the A cover,
Yeah,
and I even have the 1 in 25 now. I left this on the shelf Tuesday. Like, this is how awesome my LCS is. There's not a lot of spec buyers at my LCS. So I left that on the shelf Tuesday. I regretted it. I talked about it last night even. So I went back. It was there. So I'm like, boom. I love these sketch covers, man. They're just gorgeous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. Something about them's not quite my favorite, but I also suspect that it's through camera. I don't think they translate well through camera.
Oh no.
Because I haven't seen neither of those in store, but everybody that I've seen that has them really likes them. So
Dude, this
I think
is
there's
the
something.
one.
Yeah, see, like it just doesn't hit for me as hard as it seems to for you, and I think it's because of like the in-personness of it.
You can really tell he's just using like a #2 pencil. I mean, you can't tell. You really can't tell it on screen, but you can just see like where he's bearing down. Like it's so smooth.
What's up, Dale?
Batman.
You already got stationed.
You got stationed, Dale.
Yeah. This week for me, like last week, there was like 4 titles that I just knew were gonna like hit, and they all did. It was like a good week, but at the same time, it was very consistent. There wasn't a lot of variance between how much I like different books. This week, there's some really good books. I don't think there's any bad books, but I also feel like the variety is a little bit crazier, because there's some that I really liked and some that, I thought were good.
I want to go ahead and address this. I am shocked about everyone. I mean, all four people. I'm shocked about all four people's kind of response to the most recent issue of Power Rangers, or Mighty Morphin, I mean. Like the four people being you, Steven, Panda, and myself, because that's like the most I talk about it with people is like y'all. And I guess I haven't really talked to Robert about it yet. I'm not sure if he's had a chance to read it, but everyone was able to read it a couple of weeks ago, but I was really behind because of work. So I just read it last night right before the stream. Like I crammed it into my bathroom break. Like that's how time crunch it was. But I really felt like that's what I look for in that book. It literally had it checked off all the boxes, like how big in scale or well it did, whatever. It really checked off a lot of boxes and added some new stuff to the series. But I was honestly just mind blown how everyone was like, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I did read it like a couple weeks ago or whatever, but I also reread it yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And it really didn't change for me. I felt the same way the second time I read it after, even from the first time.
Yeah.
I did not like it. It's not that I didn't like it. I mean, my only thing with it is, like, for me, I'm not really into like setup stuff, That's my big issue with Batman. Why do we need 8 issues of setup? Like, let's just get into something already. And this wasn't a bad issue, but like it's also just a lot of setup.
It didn't feel like setup to me. Like they actually got into the crossover bubble.
Yeah, but they stepped into it, and that was the end.
I mean, because getting there is half the journey, Ryan.
But that's why it's a setup. They set it up for the next issue to be in the bubble.
I guess you can say that every issue is a setup issue until you get to the finale in that aspect. But
well,
I love
for me, I really enjoy like Act 2. Like once we get past the initial like setup phases and we're starting to move through the plot and stuff, that's when I really decide where I'm at. But I'm always hesitant with setup because like you get to a thing like this cliffhanger, it really depends on where it goes. That's going to affect how I feel about this specific issue. I know some people it doesn't bother them, but for me, like it can retroactively affect the book,
Absolutely, I get what you're saying.
But it wasn't bad by any means.
I think that I've just been, and I kind of forgotten about it because it's been a couple of issues, but the whole introduction we had to Mighty Morphin was the flashback sequences with Zordon and everything. And I'd always forgotten that that's what I'm looking forward to because they haven't done anything with it they haven't done anything with it in like 2 issues. So I was super excited to get back to the whole Guardians thing. Man, I'm pumped for that.
See, tomorrow's with you. I loved it. Rocky is my least favorite red. And I like the character beats they gave him this issue. Didn't dig the twist though.
The whole family thing?
Yeah, because like for me, I've always been pretty vocal about, honestly, I hated Rocky up until very recently. And then right here, I think in Mighty Morphin, they really gave him enough character definition that I do like him, And so a lot of the character stuff they're doing with him right now, I'm really enjoying because I never liked him as a character. He was always just like a big bumbling idiot. But they've given him a lot more context and character and stuff too. So
yeah, we talked about that. All that early on when they made him be the team tether to Matthew Cook. How they just randomly threw in there that they go back to sports when they were younger and everything and known each other for years and now they're kind of going back to him when he was having that conversation with Jason about his actual role as a Red Ranger on the team after Jason and not being the leader. And now they're kind of adding in the extra family element. So I think it's cool that Ryan Parrott's going out of his way to actually give him an identity that he did not have that he wasn't established with from the show. I think that's really cool.
Do you know where that came from?
Hold on one second. Yeah. I didn't. That's a good point. My wife just had to stop to ask me, and this is important. She said, did I ever realize when she was pregnant and taking a bath, she was technically a human submarine?
That's true.
That's true, Ryan said. It's absolutely true. Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. So where did that come from? The
Oh yeah. Okay. So all right. So maybe like a year and a half ago, they did a thing for. Oh, it was Power Rangers before they did the relaunch and stuff. They did a thing where they were kind of like had a bunch of people get together on a panel, and like Ryan Parrott was there, Dabna was there, and or Daphna, and Steve Cardenas, and a couple of other people as well. But those three are important because they were talking, and I think Ryan Parrott said something to the effect of like right now he's trying to write some stuff around Rocky, and it's just really hard to like define, like give some more like definition to that character. You never really get a feel of who he's supposed to be in the show, you know. And Steve Cardenas is like, yeah, like the crazy thing is they would give us these almost like pamphlets of just like backstory and information for these characters, but that stuff never makes it into the show. But it's like for you as an actor, you know, and so that's
just
how he
act
played.
this way. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah. So like they kind of had Rocky played as he said, like the pamphlet and stuff that he got, it was like, you know, Rocky is like the oldest of 6 kids and his parents are very poor, and like he always feels like he has to shoulder the responsibility but take care of the household and all this stuff. So that's kind of how he was trying to play the character, but none of that information ever actually makes it into the show. Like you never see their family or his brothers and sisters or that kind of stuff, you know.
None of that translates at all.
Yeah, and like in that moment, Parrot's like, "Wait, what did you say?" And then Daphne's like, "Can we get that document?" And so like the panel almost goes off rails for a few minutes while they start like talking about like all these like elements of Rocky's character that weren't actually present in the show because, you know, he was kind of just a background character at that point. And so that's where a lot of this family stuff is coming from, is because Steve Cardenas knows like what Rocky was supposed to be, you know.
Yeah. That is pretty cool. Did they get an actual pamphlet though? Were they able to acquire it?
No, I think he said he doesn't have that material anymore or anything, but you know, they were talking about like later off stream, you know, they'll do a phone call and kind of like talk through what he does remember so they can apply it.
That's funny.
But that was like one of his big things. He was like, I don't remember, right? He was like, I don't remember everything, but I remember he was supposed to have like, he was the oldest of like 6 siblings, you know, and he had a lot of responsibility at home, and that's, you know,
That
and so
definitely
they like
reminds
kind
me
of
of,
ran with all that.
you know, in Dumb and Dumber at the end when they open up the briefcase and they'd spend all the money and they're like, "What is this?" He goes, "Those are IOUs. That's just as good as cash."
Much did not have any Joker number 2. They said someone tried to buy 13 copies. What a shame.
Well, there's plenty of copies at my LCS. There's no more B covers, 1 in 25s, or I think they have like 2 A covers left and tons of the one that he's just the other cover, whatever it was. It's like got the Joker on it. It's kind of got green. I didn't really look at it. But if you just want any copy at all, Dale, I'll call up there and have them throw one in my box and I'll get it to you. Just let me know.
Cool. So what well, let me mention this. Home. This book was pretty cool. It was interesting for sure. I really like the characters. It has kind of like a very endearing like Disney style art. And so I think that like makes me like the characters a lot. The world feels a little bit undefined at the moment. So I do hope the rest of the series kind of fleshes out some of the world a little more, but the character interaction was pretty solid between the 2 main characters. The one thing I would
Does
like
it
to see
take
a
place
little...
in our world? Is it like heavily set on real world stuff, or they kind of just lean into some familiar elements?
Oh no, yeah, it definitely takes place. I think like the second page tells you it takes place in at the McAllen Reynosa crossing. So it's yeah, Reynosa McAllen International Bridge, Mexico. And the immigrants are from Guatemala, so it's all like very real world.
Nice.
Like I crossed there last year in March as they were closing the border behind us. So, so yeah, it's very real world, and then it kind of evolves over time as the story progresses.
Not trying to be punny at all, but did it hit home with you like you expected it to in your when you were talking about it last week?
Honestly, no, but I definitely want to read it again and talk kind of like more spoilers about it on Sunday. But I definitely don't want to ruin it for anybody because
Yeah.
it was a little bit spoiled for me, and I think it took away from my enjoyment on it a little bit. But there are some other elements of it that I can kind of pinpoint as like things that are keeping me from connecting with it as much as I expected to.
And it's still just issue one. They announce if it's limited or how limited or what's the
I don't
run on
think.
it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's limited. I didn't see a number off the top of my head. Deal marked. Let's see.
Well, let me know what copy you want. Do you care what cover it is? If it's cover A or if it's just any cover? Look them up. There's this cover that's kind of green, and then there's cover A's.
Yeah, I don't see if there is issue 2 in May. Yeah, I mean, flipping through it, I don't see anything. But I'm pretty sure it's limited. It's probably like a 5 or 6 issue series, I would guess. But, I mean, again, this kind of goes a little bit into spoilers, but it's definitely set up at the end um, as something that could be ongoing. Like, I don't see necessarily an end to this. Maybe this specific story, you know, but like there's still a world that they're kind of building around it.
Was it Image Comics that put that out?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it's almost everybody's picking it as their number 2 book of the week. I've seen a couple of them picking as number 1, but most people seem to have it behind something else. So, yeah. I mean, I think it's a good read. There's nothing wrong with it. It didn't, as a first issue, it didn't quite hook me as much as I expected it to. And again, I think part of it was kind of a little spoiled for me. So,
What do you get spoiled from?
There's like a pretty big reveal at the end of the issue, but I'll save that part for Sunday. I don't want to put that out there yet because once you know like kind of what's going to happen, and don't get me wrong, like it's in the previews, it's on the back of the book. In fact, like there's a little blurb that basically summarizes the book at the bottom, but there's a pretty big twist at the end that is the last line of the blurb. So like everything it's building to, they just put in the preview. Like it makes no sense. So if anybody hasn't been spoiled already, I do think that issue would probably hit a little better. Brian Steelfree's cover on Joker 2 is dope.
Which one is that? The cover A? The cover 13?
I have no clue. I don't recognize that name.
Was that a retailer exclusive? There's a bunch of covers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like covers have gotten so ridiculous. I don't even try to. People were like, this cover of issue what, and I'm like, dude, I have no clue. There was probably like 25 covers.
The only cover that I know offhand is the Carter Frederici, who's doing all the 1 in 25s across the board for bat titles right now. That's pretty easy to keep up with. And then Bermejo did the cover B, and I'm only on the up and up with that because Tyler and I were talking this morning on the channel when we were all on there about how he hated that he missed out on that, and I told him I'd go look, and I picked him up one. So other than that, I don't even know who does the cover art on cover A.
The one where he's sitting down with the knife, cover C.
Okay, that must be the one that I'm thinking of that kind of is like him there with a bunch of green on the cover as well.
Yeah,
I can't even
half
remember
green and
exactly what it
half
looked
red.
like. Yeah. So that there's plenty of those covers at my LCS as well as a couple of cover A's left. But like I said, I picked up the last two cover B's today as well as the 1 in 25 to go with my cover A and to send one to Tyler. But that Vermejo cover is absolutely wicked with her on the little Joker dolls. Golly, the glare.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I was still considering whether or not I was going to pick up a copy of that, that's the one that was in my hand.
It's gorgeous.
Let's see. Have you read Superman?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the first thing I read, I think. Second thing.
Fire.
It really was good. See, I'm gonna have to challenge you on something here, man.
Uh-huh.
The things that kind of kept you from being in it to win it with Power Rangers are happening inside the Superman book right now. You know, you're not getting a lot of plot driven stuff. It's really just character and relationship spotlighting between him and Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
So is it kind of just like the difference in title and the different dynamic of the book itself that it works for you with Superman and not necessarily with Power Rangers right now?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way.
no, yeah. What I was gonna say, like, I think because of the way that it's established, like Superman, Action Comics, that whole like beginning Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff, like it established from the get go that like the action's going to happen in the background, and we're going to focus on building this father son relationship. And so this third issue feels much more consistent with what we've been getting out of those so far, versus where Power Rangers, that is one thing about Mighty Morphin that I haven't liked is how much it bounces around. Like I think it was really cool that we got like the Green Ranger reveal, and then we also got like that same issue redone in Matt's perspective. But at the same time, it kind of like throws things off. It's all over the place, you know?
It really was. Like I said, I'd forgotten all about the Guardians being an important
No, yeah.
flashback storyline. I'd completely forgotten about it within two issues. That's on me a little bit, I guess. But you know, for people
Yeah.
that read a lot of books, it should be pretty memorable. Last night, and that kind of got me when Panda was talking to me, and he mentioned the point that Candace revealing herself to be a guardian was kind of a big reveal in my eyes. But for him, he had honestly already forgotten about that. So for some reason, it didn't stick. So that made perfect sense. Like despite how big something's supposed to be, I mean, you can categorize it as a reveal, but did it land? You know, did it stick the landing? And that must not have.
Yeah. Well, see, and that goes back to what I was saying at the time anyway. Because remember, they revealed the Green Ranger and Candace in the same issue. And at the time, I was like, that's kind of weird. Why would you waste one of those reveals? Like, why didn't they save Candace for the next issue? And but like at the same time, it was cool to have. But then, reading this issue and stuff and realizing like people have forgot what was even revealed there and stuff. Like, I wish they had just waited and saved that reveal for like this issue.
Yeah.
They could have ended it with the Green Ranger reveal. That next issue was all of that stuff from Matt's perspective, and then this issue could have went back and they could have started it out with the Candace reveal and set up everything, and then at the end we still could have got her morph for the first time and go into the dome and all that. So I at first I was like, that's weird to do a double reveal. Then I was okay with it, but now after everything else we've been through and like talking to Panda and stuff, it does show me that maybe they should have saved Candace for another issue, so it would have been a little more memorable, so she could have had her own spotlight.
And then mentioning that, like it just plays into this issue. They didn't just do it with the Candace Green Ranger reveal. They just did it with this issue with that location reveal, with the Candace thing again. Yeah, there are so many again like moments that are supposed to be memorable moments. They did, and that honestly is what kind of excited me. I guess with Power Rangers, I don't hold it to necessarily the same like standards when I'm reading it. I kind of expect a different format because in my mind, I'm still reading it like it's a TV show. Like
Mm-hmm.
I watch the show regularly still. You know, Finn loves it, So it's something that he'll just randomly come up and punch me or hit me with a sword. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, turn on Power Rangers. I constantly have that nostalgia going on. So a major find today, real quick. Hey, major find today. And this was I knew that this was at Second and Charles, and I passed it up a couple of times, but I was A-okayed the Wizard exclusive for Incredible Hulk issue half. But they have the Gambit issue half there.
Oh, nice.
Which they CGC 9.8, they're not cheap at all. But this was a raw copy, has nothing at all wrong with it. And I was able to, with a little bit more knowledge about them, make sure that it had its COA, and it did. So I ended up picking that up today. Very exciting.
That's what's up. That's an awesome find. No one says talking to Steve. What up, Steve?
Somebody station Steve if y'all haven't. Come on, guys. Oh, TM already got him.
I was going to say.
That's such a gorgeous cover.
I love this cover. Like, this is definitely my cover of the week. I can't think of a book that I enjoyed more. A cover I enjoyed more. Book-wise, I don't know. This might be my favorite of the week. I thought it was a little frustrating, like how mysterious Clark was being. I guess like the detective element of it was a little bit meh, but I really enjoyed all of the stuff between him and John. Like whenever they're flying through space and like these panels, man, like when they like fly down the trench and stuff. I love the like two of them side by side, the imagery there. When they're flying through space and he's back, he's like, we can't hear each other anyway, so there's no point in talking. I just hang back and I watch you. Like that whole spread, dude, I must have spent more time reading that than the entire rest of the book. Because it was just like so perfectly phrased. Like all that narration and dialogue is just so well done. You know, I love all the imagery that they apply to it. And like this panel here, that one really just the perspective that Clark has, you know.
And there's the cover. The one where you see him the top right, then how it panels down him just watching Jonathan.
Yeah.
Like as a parent. As a parent, there's
yes.
That's an everyday thing where you just all of a sudden catch yourself just looking at your kid. Just
Yeah, I'll be sitting there, you know, like my daughter will be like watching TV and I'll be sitting there at the table and I just look over and watch her watching TV, you know, like those are the moments that you cherish.
I got a lot of old bags and boards on the floor and monkeys over here handing them all to me one at a time to put up.
So, I mean, I really like what Philip Kennedy Johnson, like, I like his writing in here. But what I like more is that he's getting all the like father stuff right. You know, plenty of people try to do like the parent thing with superhero. Like this one's actually working. The father role is being very well written for Clark there. So I'm really enjoying Superman. That book is it's good. And if you haven't watched before, I've always hated Superman. So
yeah, but in all honesty,
this is a change.
Like in all honesty, oh Freaky Louie, I took a page out of your book today and went dollar bin diving, brother. Got some good stuff.
Nice.
But I actually had an opportunity to. But how many times have you actually jumped on Superman?
I mean, to read like a whole run of Superman, probably never.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got to say this was the perfect time to give him a shot though, with Philip Kennedy Johnson jumping on, because people have talk so negatively about Bendis's run that people's expectations are low. And in my opinion, Jonathan is such an awesome aspect to have in the Superman book at this point. You know, he's been around for like 80 years. You know, you have to do something different for them. And this is what needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I'm aware that most of my dislike for Superman has always been simply in the fact that I've never really consumed much good Superman. but in all fairness, it's also really easy to completely screw up Superman. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
character that when he's working, he works really well, but most people don't quite get it. And so I'm glad that I've decided to jump into Superman on such a solid run because he's crushing it. I like Jonathan. I think they've done a really good job of not just making him like some annoying kid that's there. They've given
Oh,
him
he's
his own
established.
yeah, like he has his own agency. He's his own character and like he's still young and naive, but he's also and like he's kind of dumb, I guess, but he also like picks things up and Clark is doing a great job of like mentoring him and really not just telling him what to do but explaining things, so that he knows what to do when Clark is gone. And so I think that's the elements of Superman as a father that I think are really impressive.
And how do you feel? I mean, I know you weren't reading it when or keeping track of it when Jonathan was young, but how do you feel
Oh
about
yeah.
how? I mean, you're aware that they aged him up, though. What had happened was like there's two things that happened. You had they have the story like the Oz storyline where it's like ends up being Jor-El. I'm not going to get into all that, but Jor-El takes Jonathan away for a while, and then Jonathan ends up going with the Legion of Superheroes in the future, the 31st century, and so at this point he's aged up into. To me, it seems like your older teenage years. I don't have a specific
Yeah.
name for him, but
I thought he
I
was somewhere
suppose,
between like 18 and like 22.
yeah, yeah, I feel about the same on that one. But do
Like
you, do you
he's
mind
on
him
that
being aged
I
up, or
feel
would
like
you
he's
like
on
to
that
see him being a little
precipice of
kid?
like growing up and still being kind of young.
Yeah, where he's confident enough to get into some stuff, but he's also new enough to it being actual danger factor involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I don't know, I can't tell you exactly, but um I think as a I don't know, as a father, 18 years is like nothing, and you spend a majority of that time not learning anything. There's very like significant segments of your life. And so like I think if I didn't have children and I wasn't watching how fast they grow up, I would probably feel a lot like, oh, well, I wanted to see him grow up so we could get all of that. But the truth is you really don't start learning anything about life until you're like 15, 16 and start getting out into the world on your own.
Just
And so
watching him
for
get scolded for doing bad things every issue, or
yeah, it like, oh, I hate to even make this comparison, but why is there like a huge portion of Jesus's life missing? Because there was nothing going on. He was just a kid getting in trouble.
well, it's written. It's just not included in the accepted Bible. It's part of the Apocrypha, but like it's
Yeah,
written, and you have stories of
but there's a
him
reason
like
it's all like cut out.
yeah, because the people who were in control of it thought that it was absolutely insane. Like he's playing kid gags with his abilities, so it seemed too far fetched even for their standards back then when they were putting
Yeah,
together their control piece.
but yeah, like I don't think there's as much to mine in his childhood as people think. And so like I'm fine with it because I think this not only works for him as a character, we're kind of getting like this young Superman, but it's still a different version because he does have somebody to look up to versus Superman himself that was like the prototype.
Yeah,
But I think it also works really well for Clark, and I think it's making Clark and Superman into a better character by adding this level of depth to his mythos.
I like it. And the comparison that was made, because Jonathan and Damian kind of ran together as the Super Sons, and you had Jonathan in this little zip up hoodie with the S on it and some torn up blue jeans, and every time like he was the Hulk or something. And it was still enjoyable. It was still cool. But now seeing him in his own suit, and even with his age being older than Damien's, and I mentioned this last night, all it did was bridge the gap between him, and Damien is still more of an adult than Jonathan is, even being younger than him because of his background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also think like the aging thing is just like kind of comes with Superman territory at this point, right? I mean, that's what happened. What's her name, Kara? She ended up like out of time and stuff. So
Well, her All right, she was sent off of Krypton about the same time Cal was, and she was sent as a 14-year-old to watch over her infant cousin. Her capsule didn't have a smooth ride like Cal did, so she was like cryostasis, like at her age for many years until she was found. So she was supposed to be the mentor, but became the student.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, people out of time and out of age and stuff is not strange for Superman. So I think it kind of works there. If you did it with Damian, like, it would take a really careful explanation to make something like that work in Batman. But
And
I
I don't
think
think
in
it'd be
Superman, we've
necessary.
already seen those types of characters, so it works.
And it wouldn't be necessary with Damien again because
Yeah,
his like physical age has no bearing on his efficiency
ability.
as you know what I mean of his abilities or anything.
Yeah.
Like he's even more dangerous, which that's the cool factor about Damien. That's why I think he's been more well received than Robin's in the past. You know how Jason Todd was horribly received because he was so defiant and everything to Batman. And well, I guess with Jason, it's also kind of like you can make a comparison to the Falcon Winter Soldier, how it was important to take the shield from Steve to John Walker because whoever picked it up next, everyone was going to hate because it's not Steve. And now everyone's ready for that shield to go to someone else, even though it's not going to Steve. But with Jason being the next Robin, maybe he was just destined to be hated because Damien has a lot of the same tropes with like arguing with him, with being defiant and everything, but he's a lot
Hmm.
better received. And I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know. Damian really wasn't liked when he first showed up, but people
Mm-hmm.
seem to have taken to him. They've kind of ironed out his personality.
Yeah, that was kind of You watch Falcon Winter Soldier?
I haven't seen the episodes from today.
I don't know how like that that comment is relevant to your shirt and today's episode.
She's there?
She is there.
What?
She is there.
No way.
I'm gonna private chat you.
Where is private chat? I don't even see it.
Top right where it says the word comments, just right to the left of it. Like over the comment thread of everyone.
Yeah.
It says comments on the right and private chat right next to it.
I don't see that part. Oh, wait, it's down farther. Is this the one that we've been waiting on? Wow. Now I kind of want to watch it. She's amazing. Did you watch her show on? Is
Veep,
it on HBO? Yeah, Veep.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the first thing I thought when I started. Said the Veep is in the building.
Oh my god, that show's so good. It's one of those like I need to finish out. I've only seen like episodes here and there and stuff, but
Ignore the typos if there are any, because I was just typing fast.
oh okay.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, you got another book? Oh, she's such a good actress.
She is.
Absolutely amazing. You're
She
not
really
on
missed
Scout
her
Tonor,
calling
huh?
being a part of Saturday Night Live. Like she would have been right at home in Saturday Night Live.
Of course, I do wonder about that because she wasn't really like a big comedian until she made it to Seinfeld, and
Mm-hmm.
that show really helped her develop her timing and stuff. Yeah, sorry, I this was just the shirt I had on.
It's just
After
Friday.
I got kicked off of the I hope he's still listening. After I got kicked off the Burke chat last night, I went for a run. And so after my shower, this is what I put on. So like
And
what are
Dave,
the odds? I know.
yeah.
I put this shirt on last night, dude. I did not know that I didn't have a free preview of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Man, yeah. Scouts Honor number 4. Very awesome. If anybody has been reading that, the first three are very like, like indie comics, I guess, in the sense that it's like almost like a TV show or a movie. And then this fourth issue like got super comic booky, like almost like Swamp Thing, like he strips the character down to like her very core and just like breaks everything down and rebuilds her by the end of the issue so that we're ready for issue 5 to see that new hero reborn. But it's a lot of like disappearing backgrounds and just like all these like kind of montage sequences and very much in the character's head trying to figure out the next step. And it was really cool. Like it's a great build up to that issue because like I said, it was so like cinematic and then it kind of gets super comic booky for this issue. And I love that. I love books that deal in the comic book medium. She was on SNL?
Have you been reading Crime Syndicate?
No. Not after that Future State one.
You read the first issue of this, though?
I don't think so.
Like when it just kind of introduced all the characters, you missed the fact that Johnny Quick was in it. I think you did read it because we talked about that.
Oh wait, that's the one where like it's all the okay, yeah, I did read that one. Where they're like fake superheroes and stuff.
No, they're just on Earth 3. They're the Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, all of them of Earth 3 where they're all villains. But it's like
okay, yeah, with Jon Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah, where he was like just murdered the cop.
The cop and
the villain.
Okay.
And Starro popped up at the end. Issue 2 came out not this previous week, the week before, and it didn't make it in my pull box. And I thought that I had it on my pull list, but I didn't somehow. I must have just picked up issue 1 off the shelf that week when it came out. But I was able to pick up a copy today from watching Blasting and Stashing Comics and them talking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember reading that. And I try to binge read before their show on Friday nights so I can go ham in the chats and argue with them.
Yeah. That's what's up. So Crime Syndicate, was that the first one?
This is number 2 right here. You read the first one. Number 2 just came out. I think it's cool because they're throwing Starro in here. You know how their comics are always great about spotlighting characters and stuff that are going to be showing up in other properties soon, like Shazam is going to be getting his own movie. And first off, hashtag Shazam. That's so fun to say. I'm going to try to make it a thing. I know it was just that one-off, but whatever. But Shazam being brought into the Justice League because you want to spotlight him before The Rock makes the movie. You got Starro in here, and we all know that Starro is going to be in the Suicide Squad movie, which I thought was really cool of James Gunn because that was the rumors with the first Suicide Squad movie when the people saw the trailer and saw like the foreign people that were taking over. They thought maybe that it was going to be Starro taking people over, but that was a big theory back then. But we're actually getting Starro now, and I think Starro is fantastic, like the OG Justice League villain. And I think Jarro was the best ward that Batman had ever had even until now. Jarro was amazing.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. I think Starro is a very difficult sell for a general audience. And so I'm kind of glad they saved him for James Gunn because, I mean, we saw with James Gunn, like he sold people on Guardians of the Galaxy and that movie should not have worked as well as it did, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So he knows how to sell a difficult concept. So I'm much happier to see him try to bring something like Starro to the general public than, say, Acer, who, like, I have no issues with him as a creator or anything, but I just don't think he could have brought something so crazy into reality as well as James Gunn probably will.
James Gunn is definitely the guy for the job. Now, Ayers does make some fantastic movies from End of Watch, Bright, Fury. Like, the dude is a fantastic filmmaker. And, again, I know I say this a lot, and, like, you don't believe me and you're just going to throw it to the wolves, but I would be interested to see his actual movie that he made versus what we got. Because if you look at the first stuff that started coming. Will you grab that remote from her, baby? Like the color palette, everything, all that neon rainbow stuff, that none of that had anything to do with his movie. That's not his style. He makes gritty street level films, you know. And so this movie did not match anything that he's ever touched before. So I don't think it would have changed too much of the story or anything, but he's got a real guerrilla filmmaking style to him, you know. But it would have been interesting to see it. I don't think it'll still be anything near what James Gunn's about to pull off, though.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, Hey, talked to this guy for a while today.
Yeah, I called Tyler when I was at the LCS, and all of y'all were still online talking. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think I was on there until like 10:30 or so, maybe even
Nice.
11. Anyway, yeah, like I agree with you. I think the difference between like the Snyder cut and the Air cut, right? The Snyder cut, it was visually different. The story was different. The characterizations were different. Like it was a completely different movie from what we saw with Justice League.
100%.
Whereas because of the way that Suicide Squad was made, like they literally filmed for 2 weeks before they even had a script. So like they were just shooting stuff to put together. So I don't believe that an air cut would change any of the story elements.
I think it would just
But
be
I think there
deleted
would
scenes added in pretty much.
Yeah, but I do think visually it would change if Air got to like put his touch to it because, like you said, he has a very different style of filmmaking.
And if you look at
after they cut the trailers,
I feel like all the stuff, like you know how they have the little cut scenes where they would have like the character profiles next to them and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much all that they did just outside of the trailer for color paletting it with the neon lights. You know what I mean? The rest of it is still has that grit level that his stuff normally does. So I honestly think that it would just be deleted scenes put back in it, which, you know, like some people didn't enjoy the flow of it. They felt like it was like pancake cargo over there. You know, you feel like it never really paced into a movie. You're just like watching a movie, waiting on it to get going, then all of a sudden it's pretty much ending with a finale. And I can see that. But me personally, I don't know if it's because I love so many villains. You know, I enjoy villains. I have a blast watching it. Even now, I don't have any of the negative feelings about it that most people do, but I can see why they have it. I've enjoyed and been vocal about liking Leto's Joker from day one. I just thought it was a unique, weird style on it, and I could have done without the face tattoos. I think that was the only thing that really, in my opinion, was an unnecessary thing to go to. But I get it; it made sense for that movie to me. But yeah.
I didn't hate his Joker. I don't know. Like he also didn't like knock it out of the park for me, and I really like Leto. Like amazing actor. I was super excited to see his version of the Joker. Again, it wasn't a bad version of the Joker. It just wasn't good enough for me to like crave to have it around, you know?
How much is it to buy it? Don't say $20. Which one is it?
I agree, nerdy.
It's a good deal. How much is it rent? $5? That's an even better deal. Get it for 48 hours.
Go ask Ethan. You call me by my Christian name. Pancake cargo? Just fine in a sucky way. Agreed.
See, and that's a thing, like when I watch certain other movies from a different company, I watch them like, yeah, that's just whatever, man. And then I watch them with my 13-year-old daughter, and it rocks for her. It hits on a different level, and that's what Ezra Miller's Flash did. Like when I watched, like my 13-year-old has watched the Snyder Cut twice now. She like 50% of the time she's been at my house since that's come out. She's watched the Snyder Cut. That's all she wanted to do. And the Flash was actually her favorite part. She's like a very well-read 13-year-old. Like I mentioned earlier, she dropped $100 on books today. And when she watched it, she said without the Flash being as quirky and lighthearted as he had, the movie would have just tipped in one direction all the way. Like it was needed. And it's unfortunate for people that are really familiar with the Flash or big fans of Barry Allen, his character was the one that was used as a counterweight. But for people who aren't crazy invested in the Flash, it didn't hit them like it did the rest of us. And it's like I said, it's unfortunate for some, but it was a necessity for others.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I don't know. It wasn't that the Flash was kind of the balancing act. Like that didn't bother me. I didn't like him. Like to me, he was frustrating to watch on screen. Like I couldn't stand looking at the guy. It's kind of the same thing. Like,
and I agree with how you said it. Like the script on it worked. Ezra doing the part in the script didn't necessarily work. Didn't bring the script to life.
I mean, it's the same thing in Avengers Endgame. whenever they bring Jeremy Renner in as Ronin, and they give him that stupid haircut, and it's like literally so distracting. Every scene he's in just feels like a terrible scene because all I can do is look at his head. And I've always liked Jeremy Renner. I don't have any issues with Hawkeye, you know, like it's nothing. I liked him in all the earlier Avenger stuff, but in that movie they gave him this haircut that is just so distracting.
He
It
looked
pulls
like
me
Storm
out
from
of the scene.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes. But didn't pull it off as well, to be honest.
Not at all. She knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that was my thing. Like, I don't know, Barry Allen is just so distracting in that movie that it really takes away from the scenes for me. So it makes it hard to watch him.
Have you watched Invincible yet?
No, I haven't watched that or Falcon.
You want to get him before Sunday?
Oh yeah, definitely. I might watch them tonight or tomorrow at some time.
So that was the finale of Prey, right? You've been praising that arc. I mean, I've heard nothing but good stuff from most of the channels that I keep up with.
Yeah. I also feel like I didn't really care for the 2 issues that came before Prey. It was like this little like substitute artist mini art called like Hammerfell or something. And basically like Thor loses the hammer in Kansas and like this other guy gets it and he becomes Thor, and
What?
they just kind of they like
Is
slap
just
him around for
everybody
a while.
worthy now? Like everybody in the world can wield that hammer now.
Well, it's kind of tied into I don't want to say it's tied into the story, but it's an element that's introduced in the very first issue of Kate's Thor, where like Thor is having the hammer is getting heavier for him, but it's getting lighter for other people, like even humans. And so that's kind of what happened there, was like he basically wanted to test his theory, so he threw the hammer down to Earth, and this mechanic in Kansas picks it up, or Oklahoma, wherever he sends it. And then like that guy, whenever he picks up the hammer, he becomes Thor, and then like this villain shows up, and so him and this villain kind of like fight it out in this like rural part of Oklahoma or whatever. And I don't know, I didn't care for it. The art wasn't bad, but it changed enough that I noticed, and I think that bothered me through a lot of that storyline as well. But it was only 2 issues, so then you get to Prey, and I didn't like those 2 issues. A lot of other people did. Like Steve was really into those 2 hammer issues. He thought they were great. And then we got to Prey. The hammy shed a few pounds, huh? And this is also something that's still going on, even through what's it called? Even through the Prey storyline, this is still going on in the background, and like Loki knows about it. So there's like all this like subtext that's going on around the hammer getting lighter and what that means for Thor's worthiness and all of that stuff. So that is like an actually kind of interesting element. I just didn't care for how it went and how they focused on it in those 2 issues.
Real quick, I just want to give a
Broxton,
big
Oklahoma.
kudos.
That's what it was.
I want to give a big kudos to Dave, Mark Spector Comics. I just got a notification. I'm kind of like tracking all my stuff while I'm sitting here. And he's doing a hot book alert. You know how previously he's done a couple of videos that had clips from Falcon and Winter Soldier in them, or no, WandaVision in them, and they got pulled from YouTube. And then he kind of edited them and changed them around, and they got pulled again. Well, this one that I just opened up, and I hit the description to see what's up with it. The description, all it is the copyright laws disclaimer allowing him to use this video. Like, kudos to this guy. He's not playing.
Right.
Dude, that is fantastic. He's like, under the law of blah, blah, blah. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And it just goes on. Like, he's just laid out the law. That's, again, big kudos to Dave, dude. Fight the power, brother.
Heck yeah.
Because he was right. They got pulled in. Like, his got pulled in. I'm seeing where they suggested videos of bigger channels just showing like almost the whole episode while they're just dialoguing over it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how's Dave's going to get pulled for using clips relevant to what he's talking about? That's insane.
Yeah. You want to address that?
I think Andrew Garfield would have been a great one. I think he was the best Peter Parker we've seen yet. Like, I think he's a fantastic
Even in the second
actor.
movie.
I thought he was a great Peter Parker in the second movie. I don't think everything going on around him was necessary in the movie. Like, taking his performance outside of the everything else, and he did perfectly fine.
I disagree.
You don't think he played Peter Parker well in that, with like being torn with Gwen Stacy and trying to protect her?
I like Andrew Garfield. I think he's a great actor, and I thought he was great as Spider-Man. And his Peter Parker in the first movie was pretty solid. In the second movie, I do not like his Peter Parker because he's a different character in every scene. That I didn't care for. Oh yeah, he plays Peter a little bit different in every scene. Like his performance as Peter Parker in Amazing Spider-Man 2 is very inconsistent.
That's weird.
His Spider-Man always nails it. Like he's got great quips and stuff. I love the way he like even in that final scene, the way he flips onto the car and stuff, like very cool. Like they did a bang up job with his Spider-Man. His Peter Parker, not my favorite though.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of the suit in Amazing Spider-Man 2 because of how much I love the suit in number 1. Like the texture of it, the cut of it, like it made it its own. And then 2, they just went straight classic. But I think the Tom Holland ones, like every Spider-Man movie ever made, all of them rank above any of the Tom Holland ones for me. And I don't think he does a bad job. It's just, to me, it's just like, dude, this is.
I mean, I feel like, and I honestly, I do not know what the solution is to this, but I feel like the biggest problem with Tom Holland's Spider-Man is we never really got Spider-Man by himself. We never got Peter Parker by himself. And so we don't really know what he's like. And I understand they were trying to do away with like the whole like origin story thing and all that. And so they just kind of throw him in the mix. But the flip side to that is we never got Spider-Man or Peter Parker. It's always connected to Tony Stark or Happy or something, you know, and like, when are we going to get to know who Peter Parker and Spider-Man is beyond the Avengers stuff, you know?
Yeah. And they've had 5 hours of his own movie time to this
from the end of the movie.
Dude, that was remember how awesome that scene was, like talking about how he just nails it as Spider-Man when Electro's doing his thing and all of a sudden he just gets hit with a water hose after Spider-Man's been trying to figure out, and this cuts over Spider-Man holding the hose with the hat on.
Yeah.
With the firefighter hat on. Thanks, guys. Like, it was
perfect. Perfect, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what was
that was an awesome moment when he just kneels down next to the kid. He says, "Thank you, man. You're so brave. I'll just go stand with your mom. I'll take it from here." You're just like, and after, dude, I don't know why, dude. I still cry in that movie when Gwen Stacy dies. Like, to me, like, that's Spider-Man's one true love.
They nailed it. I really didn't think they were going to depict it that accurately.
Like, I don't know if you can see it. The hairs on my arms are standing up. Goosebumps every time. Like, my daughter's named after Gwen Stacy. When her head hits, like, doesn't matter how many times you watch it. Like, it just, like, goosebumps all the way up my arm.
Well, it's like Falcon and Winter Soldier. Whenever Lamar like hits that thing and his body goes, everybody watching that, everybody in that room knows, and it's the same thing with that Gwen Stacy scene. Like, you know what that means.
That's when Garfield's acting like shine through. He's like, no, and he's just holding, like, dude, oh my god, like, you break for him. So at the end, when the Rhino shows up, and this is the first guy who's about to take a punch from Spider-Man since then. And, like, you don't even need to see the fight. Like, I'm so glad they didn't show us the fight. You just see the Rhino charging, firing off everything he has, and Spider-Man just jumps up, grabs the sewer cap, spins around. He's just everything. You're just like, oh, dude, you are done. You are so done. That's a one-hit over with moment, man. You're not.
And talk about another great, like, comic book splash page on the screen. Yeah. The way that ends. Oh, man. Yeah. I agree that, like, it would have been really cool to see the third one with all of that, you know, like, it kind of sucks that they, like, didn't show us the fight now because it didn't happen, you know.
And you know, there's deleted scenes
movie
with Black Cat.
It would have been awesome.
There's deleted scenes with Black Cat you know,
Oh,
like not
really?
in costume, you know, but they have what's her name, Felicia.
Felicia.
Yeah, they have her, and there's all kinds of cool deleted scenes. They
Oh,
were going
I don't think
way
I've ever
too
watched any of the
ambitious.
deleted scenes or
Oh,
anything
dude,
on that
I'm
one.
a Blu-ray and DVD extra nut job, man.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I have it on Vudu, so I'm pretty sure it's
yeah, Voodoo's
available in
awesome.
the
The fact that
extras.
they include all the special features
Yeah,
for the
but I
downloads,
don't think I've
they're
ever
great.
actually watched them. So that's see, yeah, like I agree because we never got the third movie. It sucks that we didn't get to see the fight. But had the third movie happened, like it would have been phenomenal the way they wrapped it up. Just like freeze frame on that, and knowing the place that Peter and Spider-Man are in at the end of that movie and everything, like it would have been a great place to just pick it up and run with it, you know?
Mhm. I love the fact that they actually had the lizard as the bad guy in the first one, and I don't know. I think that with the second one, like for me, Electro was a huge miss, like huge
Mm-hmm.
miss. I don't think Jamie Foxx did a bad job. I think that the direction they went with Max was terrible. Like nobody, like the first movie felt really grounded, and then it felt
Yeah.
like Jamie Foxx was almost like a Sam Raimi character brought into this movie, and he just didn't fit the tone of the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that also goes to like the obvious problem with that movie of just overstuffing. There was too much
Mhm.
going on. You couldn't get any character development out of any of
Yeah,
the
I
new
was hyped
people.
for the Sinister Six when they did that after credits, and you see Doctor Octopus's arm, the Vulture's wings, and everything. I hope to God, and see, I'm one of those people that I'm really excited that Sony is holding on to these Marvel properties, or at least the Spider-Man one, because I do enjoy the MCU stuff, enjoy it a whole lot, but more often than not anymore, I get sick of it being bogged down in like the continuity restraints that it's in, and I hate even more that all of them are toned and styled to be just Guardians of the Galaxy subtitle Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy subtitled this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because after that, that's just the
Oh yeah.
template they're using for
Once
all.
that happened, it just everybody's the quippiest character on the screen, and so they're just like constantly fighting for shine, and it doesn't work for me. It really doesn't. Like,
I watched Dark World less than a week ago, and dude, that everyone's like, "Oh, that was a weak movie." No, that's the best example of Thor that you get on screen. Like that, if for Thor, that's great. If you just are looking for like this, the I guess the Marvel method for cinema, you're gonna have to go to the comedy movie that is Ragnarok. But
see, but I don't know. Like, I actually like
thank
Thor
you,
as
Louis.
like I actually like the Thor that we got in Ragnarok. Like that version of Thor and like everything after that. That's my favorite version of Thor. I think what's his name, Chris Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a very comedic actor, and putting that character, if he's gonna be playing that character, Thor to me works best as a comedic character. But some of the other characters they took way too far, and like Captain America should have never been quippy in my mind.
I
Like
think that
I
for
did not
me,
like that.
the
I
Thor
liked
that
him being
worked
the straight
best was
man against Tony Stark.
you don't need Thor telling jokes when Thor's presence itself is almost a joke. Like if you go back to when someone said something, he's like, "Oh, I get that reference." You know, you can have him being funny while still holding more
Hmm.
true to the character Thor. You don't need him literally telling jokes and hitting one-liners and oh, we work together and spinning around and change. Oh, wait, hold that. I'll be right back. Or like it's just I get what they're trying to do because their job is to sell tickets. But if you go back, there's plenty of funny moments in the first Thor. There's plenty of funny moments in Dark World, and he's still Thor. He's still the God of Thunder. He's not the surfer dude or the Big Lebowski, which that's what he was in Ragnarok and Endgame.
Hmm.
That's just
Louis, we're still
so.
friends. Yeah, yeah. I mean, me personally, for the MCU, I don't mind the changes to Thor, but I have a lot of issues with how goofy they tried to make every single character.
Mm-hmm. Comic
And
you've
then at the same
officially
time, like
been
they can't even
stationed.
make Bucky likable. What the heck?
Yeah, I get why people like that, but let me ask you this: how many issues of Thor have you read? You know, like
Oh yeah,
I
it's
mean,
nothing like
if that's your introduction to Thor, if watching the movies is the majority of exposure to Thor you have, of course you like that stuff. Because their job is just to sell tickets to people in
yeah.
mass in general. People in mass in general do not hardline comic books. So again, I understand why they do it. I'm not mad at them for it.
Yeah. I mean, big
But
fan. But this Thor is nothing like the Thor in the movies.
nothing.
Like, that's the big difference, you know.
But he is
He's
like
not quite
you get.
he's not quite as dry and dark and brooding as the Thor that we got like in Dark World, but he's also like nowhere near what we get in like Ragnarok, you know.
Like it's just weird. Like the Thor that we see in Endgame should not have been able to pick the hammer up at all whatsoever. That hammer would not come to him. That's he literally he abandoned his entire post and his people for self-loathing, and that hammer would not have come to him. That bothered me a little bit. Now, on the flip side of that, it was a powerful message of like kind of like depression and overcoming depression. I mean, if you want to spin it like that, if you want to try to find the silver lining, which I don't mind doing, but dude, it was really cool when that moment when he finally walks out on that battlefield and says, "Let's kill him proper this time," and he pulls both the hammers. Like I thought that was cool, but Thor has bigger stuff going on. You know, it's royalty, it's regalness, and we lose all of that. And I've just loved how inside of the MCU you have multiple genres. You know, and that's what's so cool about the Falcon Winter Soldier series. Why it's hitting so hard for me is we're back to the roots. So it feels like the Winter Soldier continuation. You know,
Yeah,
it's great. I enjoyed Civil War. We really didn't lose focus of the individual genres that these characters fall into until after that. But the Russo brothers did a fantastic job with the MCU. Like they really did. They had a lot to manage, and they managed it really well. Kudos to them.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that's totally their entire franchise now.
Oh yeah, they took it from Whedon and fixed it up real nice. Winter Soldier is still my favorite movie, so
it's fantastic.
My favorite MCU movie.
Mine's
Let
incredible.
me clarify that.
Incredible Hulk isn't an MCU movie, is it? I mean, I know it's part of the MCU, but it's still a Universal Pictures property.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's on Disney Plus because of that. And they're kind of just like erasing it anyway. Like they've never really referenced back to it. They don't really manage it much. It almost seems like something that they're
we're getting
not really that interested in.
Though. Like Thunderbolts, Abomination, like there's I guess they're like, you're fine if we can't mainline Hulk, we'll take She-Hulk.
True, yeah. I wonder about the other characters though, because haven't they talked about Abomination coming back?
Yeah, which I've got his big books in there as well.
So they can bring him back like as is, no problems, you know. But I guess they can't use the Hulk. That whole like I don't know, all those licensing rights get kind of frustrating. At the same time, I'm not really into monopolies, so
yeah, they're a no-go. That's why I'm glad Sony's holding on to Spider-Man.
Yeah, like to me, I really didn't care for them getting Fox and stuff. Like, sure, they're probably going to do X-Men way better, but that also means now they own X-Men and everything else, you know? Like,
and X-Men is so big, it's fine being self-contained. It's pretty much self-contained in comics. Like, and get this, I know everyone's been really worried about the low number of X-Men titles on the shelf, but there's a new X-Men #1 book coming out. It's called Way of X or something coming out next week. So everyone can sleep and rest easy knowing that there's more lackluster X-Men titles coming to shelf soon.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's my fear if we keep letting Disney have everything.
Yeah, he has to be in an ensemble film. That's right. Flash by Night.
And he can't have his own movie. Yeah, well, I think he can have his own movie. They have to make it with Universal, though. That's the problem. They don't want to.
But they're cool with doing that for Spider-Man because he's like the vet would say, he's the franchise.
Yeah, well, I also think that Sony was like, here you go, make Spider-Man great. And it's only like 15 to 20% effort on Sony's part, whereas it seems like Universal or whatever is interested in having more hands on Hulk and all that because they want a bigger cut of it, you know. That was the big issue with Sony and Disney. You know, they wanted, both of them want more of a cut. What'd you think of Urban Legends? Haven't read it?
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. The only book I've been able to get in time today was Ultra Mega.
That's what's up. What'd you think of Ultra Mega?
Dude, it was cover to cover fantastic. Absolutely great. Had a blast. This is what's on the still need to read before Sunday pile. I've got a busy 2 days ahead of me with catching up with Crime Syndicate. 2 issues of Cantwell's Iron Man I'm behind now. Just got to back burner this one. It's like the last book I read. Still not hyped about it, but I'm still hanging in there. Hopefully it'll get there. Pumped for that. Been totally fun. This one I will back burner because I just feel like not enough people are reading it, that it's a necessity to keep up with it in real time.
That ENIAC and...
Yeah, because not enough people can get their hands on it. ENIAC and ENIAC 2.
Oh, okay. I thought you got a copy of Tankers.
No, man.
Love that cover, man.
I'm on the hunt for Tankers, and if anyone out there has one to get rid of, just know I will not pay over cover price because I'm not a sack. And then there's that. I'm looking forward to reading as well. Even if I just jump on the Jason Todd story real quick and like skip to the Grifter and then come back to the rest, I'll make sure I have at least those 2 read by Sunday. I kind of got a lot of my workload out of the way this afternoon. I just wanted to get all the stuff like that's like time constraint, like making the video that comes out tomorrow and all that, just get it all out of the way so I can just kind of do my thing for my off days here.
That's what's up. Anyone planning on getting anything from Second Sight Publishing? Of course.
What is that?
Second Sight? They have... Man, there's a book that came out this week that people are pretty pumped for. But
is
the
it
duplicate...
Promise Me Darkness?
Might be.
I've heard a lot of people ask about that on streams lately, and I had never heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that one, so that's probably it. But they print Duplicate, which I interviewed Carla Nappi, the creator of that book, and that just came out today. And I'm pretty sure, I need to check this, I'm pretty sure that's the same artist that did Home from Image, so...
I'm looking them up.
I mean, I'm not going to chase Bad Idea, but if they ever show up, I would love to read them.
Oh, Lyaxia is one that I recognize the cover on, whatever that is.
Oh, yeah, The Edge. There we go. I heard an interview with Marvin. Oh, wait, I'm interviewing Marvin. How about that? On Monday. I have a pretty full week next week. I'm going to have to start releasing extra videos because I'm going to have too many in the backlog.
That'll be like one of those 2 video a day guys. What is up, Jason?
I don't know about that. Yeah. Comic Geek. What's up, man? What's up? Southern Comic Geek coming at you.
Yeah.
What's up, YouTube?
Yeah, do the hands. Hey, YouTube.
I know. I love his intro.
I love his mannerisms, man. It's fun getting used to everybody and seeing their different mannerisms and their little sayings and stuff. So you can make the conscious decision to either watch it now or later.
Well, don't go anywhere because I got an AOK to open.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it came in the coffee. So honestly, he told me he was going to send me some coffee, and these are not bagged and boarded. So I don't even know what they are. Here. They very well might be just his books, but either way, he's an amazing writer. It's cool. I got this knife just out of reach, like always, right?
Oh my God! Is that why your kids always stay quiet?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for Comic Vet, you know. He says like every American has a 6-inch blade just out of reach.
Has a sword handy.
Right. I was like, what's the biggest knife I have?
I'm looking forward to Sunday getting to chat it up with him. That's always a blast.
Gold bladed and everything.
Oh, you must have got that from DJ Lynch's kitchen.
Yeah. Walked right in and grabbed it. Nobody said nothing.
Yeah. At least not after you had it in your hand.
Right? They're like, you can
You're good.
go.
Do you?
Ooh.
Jason said that's a serial killer knife.
Let's see. I don't know what's in here, so let's find out. The negatives. Boom. Yeah, so it is his books. Awesome. This is probably can't see it, but written by Rick Quinn. I interviewed him some time ago, and dude is, I mean, probably one of my favorite writers. Like, I think he's part of the next wave of creatives that are going to take over the business. Ooh, earworm, nice.
But that artwork is amazing.
Yeah, this is one of his books as well, and it has some very cool artwork. I talk about something in here quite a bit. Yeah. So like the whole thing is like this guy, he's like a detective and he has this song stuck in his head. And so they have this machine that can see noise. And so he is a detective and he's following the trail of an earworm and it looks awesome.
Pretty cool.
So this is a cool book. I like this one. Boom. Okay, this book right here, Chameleons. I love this book. Rick Quinn, what I like about him so much is like he knows how like he writes in silence, you know. There's very little dialogue, minimal dialogue, but he knows how to use the artwork and the environment to his benefit. And so there's just like it reminds me a lot of No Country for Old Men.
Oh, such a great movie.
Yeah, you know how like there's just like no background, no score or nothing, like just
Mm-hmm.
big wide open shots where like there's this weird tension building because there's nothing going on around you and stuff. He kind of does that a lot with in Chameleons here. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, I really like the way he writes because he thinks about silence and lack of dialogue as a tool instead of like something that needs to be filled in, you know. I guess the way an artist can be into like negative space, he does that with his writing.
That's pretty wild. I've never even heard of or thought of that concept before.
Yeah. The Ghost Butterfly. This was a cool one. It's about a guy in a post apocalyptic world, like basically looking for his wife who is probably dead because there's radiation everywhere.
Bummer. Have you read Geiger yet? Just made me that comment just made me
No,
think of that.
no, I still haven't read it.
Okay.
This one, kind of hard to read, but it's called Saltwater. It's a really cool book about, like, he kind of wanted to do like this. When he got with the artist, they wanted to do like this Star Wars kind of inspired thing. And so it ends up being like basically like a political element of Star Wars. And essentially like all the wealthy and special people live above the water and then there's like this whole like underground section of the it almost reminds me of like Waterworld or something,
Oh, I
but with
love that
like
movie.
this.
I don't know why. It's
Oh
horrible.
yeah, I grew up on it. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it. So
Dennis
yeah,
Hopper.
it's like this political thing of like rich and poor. It's a cool story though. The Dead Sparrow, another Rick Quinn classic. And this one right
How
here.
long have these books been out?
I
Oh, that
mean,
looks
he's
really
been,
cool.
I don't know the exact dates on them all, but he's been publishing for a couple of years now. But it's all like independently financed and self publishing and stuff. And he works with a couple of people. Like, he kind of has like a group that he works with, you know, they exchange ideas and stuff. And they're all starting to kind of hit, you know, like they're getting picked up. Um, like Aditya Bidikar. I don't know if you remember him. He's the letterer for Department of Truth and a lot of other big books right now.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know too many letterers by name. I know that you follow that podcast. What's it called? With the letterers. You've talked to me about it
Oh,
before.
Letters and Lines.
Yeah, letters and lines.
Yeah, this is Hassan. I don't know how to say it. Hassan Atsmain Elhu. He's also a letterer that's doing a lot of work right now, but he also has a great podcast. But he does something called Strip Panel Naked, and he has an awesome kind of comic industry magazine that he does every so often called I forget what it's called now. Maybe Seeds or something like that. I don't know. He's one of those people you know how they talk about like a comedian's comedian? Well,
Yeah.
Son is kind of like an industry guy. Like all of the biggest people in the industry know this guy very well. He's very well regarded. So he worked with Milton Lawson, who recently had Detective Heller kind of blow up. That was a pretty good run. And he's got a couple of other people that he works with. Oh, Dave Chisholm that I did the interview with. He worked with him on a lot of stuff. So all the people around him are really starting to kind of blow up right now. And I expect to see, and they always go back to him. They're like, oh yeah, Rick is amazing. It's like, you're the one that's published though. But it's because people literally don't know how good Rick is. Like his writing is chef's kiss.
Whenever I hear someone say chef's kiss, I think of the chef that tried to kill Sebastian in The Little Mermaid every time. Every time.
Right?
But my partner got away. You know what I'm saying?
What's a bad? Don't take my tagline.
Yeah, he's monetized now. We're not gonna mess with you, Jason. You're good.
I know, right?
We're just gonna promote you.
Cool. Well, you about ready to get out of here?
What do you say about time, Mark? Talking about the Sebastian with Little Mermaid?
Where is that all the way at the bottom?
Yeah.
I guess so. That's your buddy. He knows you.
I wonder if he's if he paused the live stream at one point and then came back in the room and hit play and he's talking about me reading Ultra Mega.
That's what I was about to say. It was probably an Ultra Mega comment.
I learned that a long time ago. Don't pause the live stream if you got to turn the volume down. Or you got to catch back up.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that was kind of our preview of what we're going to talk about on Sunday. Once we go all spoiler. Yeah. Plus Falcon and Winter Soldier and Invincible. I will have both of those watched by Sunday.
I'm sorry I didn't have the stream set up yet.
No, it's all good.
It's really good.
That's cool. Anybody that's in here follows your channel, so they're gonna see it pop up.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope everybody can make it Sunday night, 9:00 on the Legion of Comics channel at Week's End, episode I think 29 now. And yeah, come and hang out because fandom happens here. You know what I'm saying? Don't miss out.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you guys have a wonderful 2 days without us, or without me at least, I'm sure. Mark will probably pop up on somebody else's stream. And enjoy your Friday evenings. Woohoo, we made it through a week.
Yeah.
Another week.
Like they're flying by.
Cool. Well,